Good. Good.
But yeah, so what it does, keep people. I know you've been missing us. Nah, not really, because we're always here 2 times a week with more than 4 videos a week. You know what I mean? We never let you down, okay? Even if me and Steven finally get fired from our jobs and lose our mortgage, we're still gonna do this shit from under the bridge, okay?
Yeah.
I need you guys to understand.
Yes. From wherever. From my freaking library, the Starbucks, from work. I'll be behind the counter making coffees.
As a homeless, you have a lot more opportunities nowadays if you want to be a content creator, and I think that's something, the silver lining in this whole thing.
Yeah,
but
that'll bring Broskiedoodles a whole nother level of content, right?
I mean, people need to remember that before we were the Broskiedoodles, we were the Broskiedoodles. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, we're still Broskiedoodles at times of our day. So it really depends on what bill I'm looking at.
Yeah, what's coming out this month? What's coming out this week? Oh, shoot. No, but thank you again for tuning in to the Broskiedoodles podcast. Man, it's been an interesting week, to say the least, you know. A lot of things are happening. The elections are happening. Science is happening, and we're gonna get into it today on this podcast episode. So
let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Today we're back, me and Steven alone. I know we've been giving you guys a few guests in the last episodes, and I hope you liked it. And also, you know, I hope you like us being by ourselves as well, because we are the original Broskiedoodles. I don't want you guys to think that, you know, that we're gonna disappear. Like I said, we're here forever, even if this shit doesn't make us any money in the next 10 to 20 years, okay? This is what we do, and we have some good topics for you today. It's not just fucking around. We actually got some educative things for you to, you know, learn. And so, yeah, Steven, I wanted to talk to you. You know, people look at us and they probably don't think that we give a fuck, but we're actually super environmentally friendly, super animal friendly. You know, you might look at Steven, you know, because he's a director of Trump's campaign, that he might not be into saving, you know, whales and swimming with the dolphins. But nah, this kid has dogs. He's a rescuer. He just rescued a dog last week, if I'm not mistaken, in the highway, which is gonna tell you the story.
Yeah.
And he's found his owner now. He also caught a snake once, and he didn't kill it. He just threw it in his neighbor's yard so he could fuck with it. You know, so
it's true.
So we like nature, right? Tell us a little bit about your recent rescue with this dog, because I want people to also see like that we have a good heart, because I've been seeing some comments of people saying some shit about us. Not really. Nobody comments on our videos, but I would assume that's what people might be thinking. And I wanted to make it clear that we're animal lovers and tree huggers, because we had a guest the other day talking about the hippies. Yeah, he says America has so many hippies, but there isn't. Tell us, Steve Ski.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I believe in helping the world out more than I believe in helping people out, right? Like, you ever seen those shirts where it's like I would rather be with my dog, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm that kind of person, right? I don't like people too much. Just because we're too volatile, and when you start to think too much, you might not think in the right ways. But for me, what recently happened, there's a couple different animal stories I've got, but
damn, tell us. I mean, I'm fucking super psyched about this. We're having an environmental friendly episode. Yeah, we're trying to get sponsored by this global warming company, so we're trying to send this in as a pilot. So, but tell us, do tell. I mean, I didn't know you had so many stories like this.
Yeah,
fucking Steve Irwin in this bitch.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've actually thought about. Well, I'll get to that later, but basically, the other night, actually, right before we recorded the last episode, my fiance and I, we were driving home, and we see this white dog walking onto the on-ramp of the highway, and this is like really, really South Miami area. So it's like there's a lot of straightaways there, and I'm telling you, at nighttime, especially with the lights and stuff like that, like, his type of white coat, it's kind of you would miss him and you'd hit him, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Like, when it's bright like that, like, it kind of blends in. Anyways, so Nat, my fiance Natasha, she looks at me and she's like, "What do we do?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but make a decision. Like, pull over or not right now, you know." And so she pulled over, and I'm like, "All right, cool." So I get out the car and I give him a quick like a whistle, and immediately you could see him like he looks up because he was like a little ways back. He looks up and he's like, oh, nice guy. Okay, and he just starts like running towards me, and he actually jumps onto me. Like, he jumps up onto me, and I just grab him, and I pick him up, and I get into the car. I'm like, all right, we're two now, you know? And we're like, oh, shit. So we take him home, and we're like, damn, like, he has no collar. But he looks clean. Like, he looks pretty much clean. You know, he wasn't dirty, didn't have, like, we checked him for fleas. Like, he looked like he was fed, you know? He was muscular. Like, he had it. So I'm like, all right, he belongs to somebody, but, like, I don't know how he got out or whatever, you know? And he looked like super energetic. You know, we went through the whole weekend. We called him Spot. He has a brown little like smudge on his face. We had a barbecue. The guy was like Airbnb in my house. Like, the dude was eating churrasco and friggin', and he was living the life. Like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if you come from a bad house, but like, you're good here. Trust me. This has probably been a good weekend for you. And so, but yeah, he came and he was like so thirsty. Like, it was so weird. But you know, after a day or two, and he got used to Cooper, my other smaller dog, you know, it was super chill. So, I got him scanned on Monday, and they found a chip. They're like, I guess he had an embedded chip. Lo and behold,
Bill Gates.
Yeah. Lo and behold, his name was actually Spot. I was like, what?
Damn.
I mean, how original. Like, I was just trying to be super unoriginal, you know, thinking that he would be like, I don't know, some kind of Cuban name, because down there it's all like, you know. But no.
So then you told the lady, like, can you remove the chip and eliminate all the information related to it?
I didn't want to take it from somebody, especially if it was a family dog. It actually.
But you could? No, right?
No. The chip stays there. But all that chip does is that I call in. There's only one provider. It's called Home Again, and basically it gives you the last known information of the owner. So the Home Again people, I called them. They didn't give me the information of the owner. They gave my information to the owner on my behalf, and said, "Are you okay with giving your information to the rightful owner?" Yep. The name of the dog is Spot. Blah blah blah. You know, I'm like, okay, great. Yeah, go ahead, have him call me. And that's exactly what happened. You know,
and they called you?
Yeah, the lady called me. Oh my God, thank you so much. And I was like, hey, like, you know, I was trying to feel him out, right? Because you never know. You never know if like they really do want him, if they just let him run free. You know what I mean? If it was a dump, like, you know, they pull off on the side of the road and dump him. So I'm like, yeah, hey, you know, so I found this dog walking on the highways, and I was like, oh my God, you know, this and that. He's so crazy. He always likes to get out. Like, he usually leaves. Like, he's good at staying within the premise of the house, but I guess that night he got a little crazy. And you know, I'm like, hey, like you want him, right? Like, I have people who like fell in love with him, who are willing to give him a good home. Like no, like, I got that dog. I got
like
him.
Like on a good note, like, hey, for real, like, it's cool if you don't, but yeah. Like, do you really want him type shit?
Basically, yeah. I mean, I had to be that way. I was like, hey, I don't mean any disrespect or anything, but like, I gotta like, you know, figure out. I'm not gonna let this dog go back and get right,
because if she really did want to dump him, and then you found them and called, and then that company called them, they're like, fuck.
Yeah, they're like, they feel guilty in some type of way. Like, yeah. Of course I want.
Not only that, but they're like, fuck, they caught us. We gotta call the guy, because if we don't, like, like they cannot tell Home Again, mm-hmm. Like, oh, hey, look, somebody found a dog. You want to call? Oh, no, it's cool. It's cool. You know, just let it go. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't look good on her.
Exactly. You gotta like admit your wrongdoing.
So in your judgment, you felt that she did want the dog, and it was just like an accident.
Yeah, I mean, down here, and I'm sure in a lot of places, like, you know, animals to people are animals. They live outside. They're supposed to roam. They're supposed to be. They're not like they don't have like these human characteristics that sometimes like these small puppies that these women or these families they give like dogs like a name and a therapeutic bed and a freaking, you know what I'm saying? You've seen what I'm talking about, right? Like they go with them and they're like they get better haircuts than me, like, you know what I'm saying? So
I mean you got a tuxedo for your dog, so I feel what you mean.
I did. I'm that person. I am that person. I want to be very clear.
I am that guy.
I am that guy. But what I'm saying is, to some of the people, it's a lot of people, at least down here in Miami, it's not, you know. So they let them roam free, whatever. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that, but
no, you're saying that like it made sense for her to say that, because it is true that in that region of the country, because it's a bit more in the outskirts, that people allow their dogs and shit like to be more like animalistic instead of like being a home type thing. Like it made like the story made sense to you.
Right, exactly. Like I wasn't expecting her to turn around and say, "Oh my God, yeah, like he just like he lost his tuxedo and that's why he looked like he didn't have a home," right? Like no, like he is actually like an outdoor kind of animal. Anyways, but it was good. Like she was away in Louisiana taking care of her mother-in-law with her husband. And her newborn baby. I guess, you know, her mother-in-law up there needed help or whatever. Her father was at the house taking care of the property, and I guess he must have left the gate open or something to that effect. So I was like, hey, like, do you need me to hold on to him for a while until you get back? Like, you know, tell me what you need. Like, I just want him to be safe, you know? No, he's good. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, for what it was, like.
So you took him?
Yeah, I took him back. To the house. Everything was great. You know, the moment he got out the car, he was super happy. He went right into his backyard. He started doing. I was like, all right, cool. This is where he's supposed to be. He's happy. So, it's funny because Nat works down the street from there, because that's at her brother's house. Is kind of why we were in that area. Is because when we're leaving her brother's house, he's the house on the corner, which makes sense because it's like you can see the highway from the house. It's one of those houses that are on the main road, and it's like, oh, right there's the highway. So it makes sense. Maybe he would have gone back. Who knows? But he was getting onto that on ramp pretty quickly. So I didn't want to.
No, but that's a really good feel good story. You know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need some of those to like remind you that in life not everything is a fucking disaster and a chaos, and you know what I mean? Like life has so many like hard moments that when you hear these feel good stories, you're like, all right, I need to remind myself again there are beautiful things to look forward to. I mean, I don't know if that sounds too sad, but sometimes I like to hear things like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's not enough good news in the world, right? I mean, it's all sensationalism. So, I like to do good things. The more good things I do, the better I sleep at night, and you know, even if other aspects of my life aren't where I'd like them to be, emotionally I'm more attached to just doing the right thing in life. So that's kind of me.
Do you think that in life that there is this thing where like most of us in the world just have a good energy and want the other people to be better, and that by like these little acts they accumulate and sort of push the world forward? You think that's part of it?
Definitely. My issue is that sometimes we get so wrapped up in life that we forget like our core being. Like you look at these people who are like really successful and they're like super motivated and they're all about getting up in the company, or they're all about making that sale, or they're all about like whatever, like hustling. And there are some like people with bad intentions, but it's funny, right? Like when we were, I think we were talking about this offline. Like there are people who have converted KKK members, or they have converted certain things, and they do it with love, right? Like I'm not preaching the Bible here, but like at least in the Bible it says that Jesus was like he overcame his enemies with love, and like by loving them more, the less and less the more their guard came down. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that like at our core, I think that people are more good than they give themselves credit to be, you know.
And do you think this comes from like necessarily from like a religion point of view, or did you? Because like when I think about things that I do, I'm not religious, but I just feel good.
Yeah,
doing the right thing. Do you think that's that's real, or do you think it's more people look at it through a religion point of view, where like, oh, I need to follow the rules type shit?
I mean, there's definitely the crowd that wants to follow the rules. I'm kind of like you, Kiko. Like I know the religion story. I grew up in it, like being Latin, being Catholic, like, you know, then having a good set of friends. Like I moved to a very different place, and my only friends were people from a church gathering kind of thing. So I inevitably am more religious, but now that I'm back here with my family, like I realize that at my core, I'm not really like driven to be religious. No, to answer the question directly, I don't think that it tends to mostly come from like a follow the rules, like godly authority type of thing. I just think that good acts are, it's like smiling versus frowning, right? Like it takes way less muscles to smile than it does to frown. You got to pull down your cheeks and all that stuff. So there's so much more effort that goes into being an asshole than there is effort being a good person, you know?
Right.
It may be inconvenient at times, and I think that's what gets people to maybe not be, like if somebody else was driving, they're like, oh shit, that dog, you know, I hope that dog's okay later. You know, most people will do that because it's inconvenient. But it really wasn't. Like I had a dog come into my house. I mean, I had the resources, right? But I had the dog come to my house. He was playing with my other dog. My other dog was happy. You know what I mean? Like that particular weekend, my dad and my brother came over for the barbecue, and my dad, like, he's a very like negative person. He just drowns in a cup of water type of thing. And like seeing the dog brought him joy. So I do think that sometimes you have to act upon the opportunity to be a good person, because that opportunity was actually something that might affect other things in life. It affected him in a way. He's like, oh man, what a great dog. He listens. He's such a good dog. Like I would take him, you know, like if no one claims him, I'll take him, you know? And and I'm telling you, like, this is my dad that you met, like, in Miami Lakes. Like, he is...
Yeah, like not that type
type of person. Not that type of person. And he wanted him. Because he's now... You know what I mean? He has a... He kind of he's a transient liver. He lives in Cuba. And... or he lives here, but he has, like a home and a life in Cuba. He's retired. He does whatever.
Your dad?
Yeah, like my stepdad, and and he has a plot of land with a lot of acres, and you know he has a German Shepherd over there or something like that. So you know he's lonely over here. Like, you know, he goes over there so much because over here he has nothing. So here I am, like, possibly giving him something to have over here, and he's loving it. You know what I mean? And we love it because we get to see him more. If that was the case, it wasn't the case this time. But that's because it wasn't meant to be for that situation, but it made him happy.
Well, but at least it provided this moment, right? That not only meant for the good weekend that you guys had, but also probably left something in him, you know? Like, leaves you thinking. Just like for you, it left you with something, like a little light inside of you. Like, fuck, man, I did something good. And, you know, I didn't do it to benefit anyone. This is good. And when I was asking you about the religious thing, maybe I came out aggressive in the sense, like, do you do it because you think it's good, or do you do it because the ruling and the spaghetti monster in the top tells you? And, like, you know, people that are religious and do follow it because they like it and they do the right thing, it's like I have no criticism against them. Maybe when I was young, I was like an atheist that, like, what? You believe in that? Are you stupid? But nowadays, I'm just like, man, life is so complicated. Who the fuck knows, you know? Like, I'm not religious, but that doesn't mean I know. I don't know anything. I hope there's something after, but I don't know. So what I was just gonna say is that I really liked your answer, but I'm just saying, even if there is a religious part of it that makes people want to be better, then that's also good. Yeah, I want to make it look, you know. That's a good story, man.
There's different sides of the coin, right? I mean, like, when you think about some of these countries that are solely based on religion, and the religion is almost extreme. It's sometimes, obviously, you look at that from a first world country and you're like, well, like, I mean, I'm not one to judge, but that seems like it's just using the fear behind a religion or the authority, or being smited down or whatever by the god, you know, and it keeps you in line, right? I mean, look at you know, North Korea, right? I mean, and stuff like that. I don't know. It seems like sometimes those tyrants, they utilize these tools, and so I don't think that that's good either, right? I eventually think that maybe possibly those types of religions at the very least would become probably obsolete. I don't know. What do you think?
All of them?
No, like those extremist ones. I mean, I maybe all of them, but I think that when it's so deeply rooted, especially like Christianity, Judaism, Islam, the big ones, and I'm not talking about the extremists. I'm talking about like the regular, like, you know, normal type of following. Those probably won't go away. I don't think so. There'll always be somebody. I mean, there's still some people who believe like ancient stuff, you know, like really ancient stuff. But so I don't know.
I don't think religion will disappear.
Yeah.
You are seeing countries in like the Nordic regions where the majority is atheist, and so that does say something. There is places where religion is becoming obsolete, but in general, I just think religion is such a good answer to life's questions, you know. And it's like unless you come to part with the fact that the world and life is a mystery, unless you like agree with that and then live based on that, then you're always gonna need something that sort of calms you down and assures you of what the, you know what I mean? Like, so regardless of, even with technology, I think people still will, or at least it will take a long time. Like, technology has to be so good that you can prove everything in the world so that nobody can say anything. You know what I mean? Like in the past when somebody got sick and then they got better because whatever, the body fought it off, but they were giving them a tea. They're like, oh, this tea saved them. You know, like ignorance makes you think like, oh, this is the magical tea type shit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, when you have these beliefs, and like everybody wants an answer to something, right? Everybody wants an answer to something. When you start to think, oh, okay, well, you know, we've tried everything, we've done everything we possibly can, you know, and then this, like you said, this magical tea comes up, or this, you know, whatever. People start to think, well, that's a fucking miracle, you know, it's a miracle. So, I don't know. I think it might be something interesting to think about.
Well, you were mentioning something about the like North Korea, and like extreme religious there, but it's actually funny because in North Korea they don't have a religion. Really? Although you could say that the regime sort of acts like the church, right? And well, actually there is like a sense of religion because they're taught that this is the leader, this is the God, and they're all here to sort of praise him, right? So I guess in its own sense, it is a bit of a religion, even though it's not like an actual religion per se. But, you know, what's crazy about this topic is that I was watching this girl talk about her experience in North Korea. She was born there, and she escaped to China. And then later on, when she grew older, she wrote a book, and she's sort of like promoting the book. And she was being asked, like, also like, because, you know, in North Korea, there's no internet. And even back in the day, in the 1950s, they have this so locked in that it's not even like in Cuba where people from the outside can bring things, movies and shit. And, you know, in Cuba, like nowadays, they have like everybody knows everything, there's internet. So even though they're closed in, they have information. They know what the world outside is. In North Korea, they don't know they don't even see movies from the outside. So they don't know what the world is. So this girl escaped, not because she wanted to find a better place, like in Cuba, right? Cubans go to Miami because they know what Miami is like. This girl doesn't know anything outside of her little village. But she doesn't have electricity. She doesn't know what it is. But she sees that on the other side of the mountain, where China is, there is light, there is electricity. So she's like, maybe if I go where that light is, there will be food that I can pick up in the ground or some shit.
Oh shit.
That's what motivated her, right? She didn't even, like, they asked her, so you went looking for your freedom? I was like, no, I didn't even know what freedom was. Like, that wasn't a word that we knew. It wasn't part of the vocabulary. So I was just hungry, and I was like, there's nothing here. Maybe there's a light there. Maybe under the light there's some food. That's her only motivation, right?
Oh my God. That's like some manifest destiny type of thing, right? Like, where you have this like inner working where you go across a mountain just looking for water, you know what I mean? Or looking for something like...
Yeah, I mean, it is very biblical, right? Like, you saw a light and you followed it, and that's beautiful in itself. But on the other side, isn't it crazy that like, you're so brainwashed that you don't know anything in the world, that you don't even know the concept of, oh, I don't like this, I need to make something out of my life. Like, that is not something that comes with being born a human. You need to be taught those values. You know, this girl was describing that she didn't even know what love was, because the word love doesn't exist. Like, oh, mom, I love you. Dad, I love you. Like, in Cuba, they live in a regime, right? But they love each other and shit, right? Within their poverty and misery, they're like, oh, I love my dad, right? No, they don't know what it is. The only word that's close to the word love is a word that is to describe how much you praise your leader, right?
Oh my God. That's insane, bro. I mean, yeah, you look at something like that and you're like, oh my God.
Well, and it is a religion in a sense.
I've heard that they do like really like, and those people are terrible. Like, the regime as a whole are terrible. I don't know where I read it or heard it. They like, if you like, I know in Cuba and probably Russia and things like that, if you speak against your country, you go to jail. You know, you overcook chicken right away. You overcook chicken, you go to jail. You undercook fish, believe it or not, go to jail. No, I mean, but like, I think that
ugly sweater, jail.
But like, you you go to these countries and at least they keep you alive. I hear that they do terrible things to you in North Korea. Like,
bro, if this girl, they're scared of saying anything that challenges the status quo. Dude, she said, my mom used to tell me when I was whispering to, like, not even whisper, because the birds and the ants could hear me.
Oh my.
Like, bro, if they heard you say anything that was close to being challenging to the regime, they don't only just kill you, because that wouldn't really solve the issue. They kill you and your next 3 generations.
Oh my God.
So that there's no trace. Bro, like, I'm hearing this shit and I'm like, oh, okay, so Venezuelans, communism, that's like Disneyland, right? Okay, that's cool. Great. Bro, yeah. It's some crazy, insane shit, bro.
That's so sad.
I gotta hit you up and see it. But there's crazy stories. There's this video of this guy that escaped through the militarized zone, where it's like you have to go through many gates, and he just grabbed the car and he just, fuck it, like, he's like, oh, I'm gonna go get the bread and the cigarettes, yeah, of course. Dude, he just like, fuck this shit, bro. They started shooting at him. This guy had to get out of the car. He barely made it. And on the South Korean side, they sort of
they got
helped him sort of get to the last part. But this guy was all shut up, like, shut up, you know.
Yeah.
I'm still like, I'm going through courses, English courses, but I should be. The Broskiedoodles are paying for it. No, but dude, so they save him and grab him on the other side, and they take him to, like, the hospital, right? Like, this guy's dying. All right, bro. They open his stomach up to, like, heal the wounds. Bro, this guy has dozens of parasites inside. But I'm not talking about, like, I mean, any parasite is like a disgusting thing, right? I'm talking about snakes. I'm talking about snakes inside his body, bro, because of malnutrition. This is the average person. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane, bro. It doesn't even fit on my brain. Like, it doesn't compute, you know, that this shit exists. And it is like, not to drive off from the religion topic, it's literally that. Like, if this isn't a religion, what is? Like, there's religions that vow for good things, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, this, like, what is a religion? It's an ideology, right? And that's what they have. Like, this guy, the leader, he's the god. He's made thousands of movies. He's like everything you can think of, he's done it, and he's the god there. So
that's insane.
It's crazy.
That just seems like a lot of pressure if I was him. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, not only do you have to run the country and yell at people and do it, and then you gotta, I don't know. That's like Trump to like a whole, like, to the 100th power.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not like he was chosen like Trump, and he's like, oh fuck, I gotta do it. No, like,
yeah,
he
like
killed
Trump,
his uncle to be there. Like, this guy.
Yeah, he wanted that shit bad. Yeah. No, man, that's really crazy. I mean, I feel bad for these people, right? Like, you mentioned that Venezuela is like the Disneyland of communism. Yeah, like it's because
it isn't, right? But
it isn't, and especially now it's really, really bad because people have, it's different, right? Because like when you look at Cuba communism, Cuba they took away all the guns, right? They took away everything, so like the people cannot revolt. But here you have like Venezuela with like Antifa like type of like rebellions, like little subgroups, right? And they instead of doing it against the government, they love that. They love the fact that they're the only ones that have the power, and then they take advantage of the people, along with the government taking advantage of the people. It's like,
and then there's a group of criminals that don't give a fuck about your political affiliation. I'm just gonna rob you, and if the deficiency of the government means that there's less cops and less consequences for my crimes, then better for me. But exactly. Yeah, that's a big difference. In Cuba, it's like everyone's poor and everyone's locked and nobody can do shit. But at least people don't rob each other. Again, there's not much to rob, but also because it's a little island, and if you do anything, they'll kill you. So it's a bit different. But yeah, man, definitely we still have a few spots in the world like Cuba, Venezuela, in Argentina a little bit, and then you have North Korea, where you still have these regimes, that imprison their people, and it's fucking crazy, bro. You want to talk about slavery? North Korea, I think, ships out like 2 million people in China and Russia doing work for them, and then Russia and China pays the leader of North Korea, and the workers don't get paid shit. I mean, the only payment they get is you get to live another day.
Exactly. It's wild, man. It's wild. Yeah, I mean that's why it's important for us to just try to keep doing good, right? I mean that's what this whole episode. It didn't even start this way, right?
This is a crazy one.
This is a crazy one. It kind of went the sideways, but in a good way. Like I think it's important for us to keep doing good for one another. The more that we spread the ideology of being good to one another, I think, there's a lot more to it. But at least locally, we should be able to. The more people on board with being good, being like wholesome people, the better we are. In general,
as a whole, right?
As a whole, yeah. Eventually it'll become global. I think eventually. So.
Well, tell us a bit, because you mentioned you had a few stories. Tell us another animal story of Steve Irwin specials.
Yeah, I actually really like that snake story. Well, this one is I'm a good person to the animal. I'm not a good person to my neighbor.
Yeah. Well, the snake story, you already told it.
I did. I told it on the
another
podcast?
episode.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So let me see. I was a Boy Scout, so like there's a lot of weird stuff.
But, for real?
Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, just like snake, like a lot of snake stuff. Simple stuff.
Did it teach you? Is this why you're like? Because when you told the snake story, I was like, man, this guy, just no love, just grab this shit. Like I think I'm a little bitch about that type of shit. But do you think that this Boy Scout thing put you in experiences where you were comfortable grabbing animals and shit, or you were always like that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was at first you have that shock factor. You do, Actually, the first time I ever saw a snake is when I was really, really young, and we were playing like hide and go seek, or we were like playing tag or something, and we were running around the house, And I used to have this gate where, like most people, like that's a fence. You would, like, it was house, space, house, and then in between the spaces was like my fence, and then my neighbor had that same space but on his other side, right? Like my house was the side of my house to the side of my neighbor's house.
Okay.
And then the same thing like that way, right? So so I'd be running around. I ran around the house, and I came around this side, and I opened the gate, and then I'm running, and I have like these, you know how like sometimes people put like pavers but like spaced out to make a walkway. Like, yeah, I don't know, you know, as a kid you think, oh, okay, let me jump from one to the other, jump instead
as if you're playing hopscotch.
Exactly. Well, here comes this thick
major snake.
I was a kid, but I saw this thick, like, I know if you're listening to this on the audio you can't tell, but like it was like this green. It was like a lime, like a lime green type of snake. And it was big. I mean, from what I remember, it almost looked like I don't know, like a curtain rod kind of thick, or like
damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just it looked big, and
like
I was
a bat.
Yeah. Like it was. I was like, oh shit, and I jumped over it, and I was like, hey, everybody, go the other way. I was like screaming like, ah! And I go inside, and then I come back out, and it's gone. And I'm like, damn. But then I started thinking to myself, I was like, man, I really wish I could see it. Like, I wanted to see it. You know what I mean? I was interested. It just caught me by surprise, because here I am running, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to trip over this thing that I don't know is gonna wrap my neck and fucking annihilate me. You know, as a kid, a lot of things go through your mind. But then that started, you know, the whole thing. So when I was in the Boy Scouts, I started like learning about the snakes, specifically the ones in Florida, the ones you got to be careful for, the cottonmouth. You know,
I know all about that cottonmouth.
Yeah, for real. the cottonmouth snake, you know, red. What is it? Red and black, friendly Jack. Red and yellow, deadly fellow. You know, so like if you see a snake with these colors, like you gotta be very careful. There are some rattlesnakes.
So it's the Asian ones. You gotta.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Sneaky.
There's like but then there's some that are red and yellow that are just that way because they're actually not poisonous at all. The coral snake, they're called the coral snake, and they're not deadly at all. The coral snake is, but this other red and yellow snake is just looking that way because as a defense mechanism. So like so you get confused. In any case, my rule of thumb is get the fuck away from all of them. From all of them.
Yeah. So then, did you have an encounter with them then after?
Yeah. So well, it's actually funny. I had a similar situation happen before in Clearwater, the famous snake story I told before. I actually I got my door was knocked on, back when in the neighborhood that me and you met in, right? And there was
knocked on.
Yeah, like knocked on, like somebody knocked on my door. My neighbor from 2 houses down knocked on my door. A Venezuelan family. It was just a mother and the daughter, and a black snake got into their living room, and then they were like, oh my god, can someone help us out? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And that's the first time I had to grab a snake, right?
Damn.
So I this is where I really was like, oh shit,
is that the day where you're like, fuck, I think this is my calling? This is it.
No, I was like, yeah, this is it. Like, I'm going to see how I'm going to do this, right? I gotta figure this out. I obviously
you fucking the Miami Zoo in your mind, like you're like, this shit could put me in places.
Dude, no lie. Sometimes I wish life was as simple as just being like a ranger. Like I had a buddy of mine who.
Would you love that shit?
I fucking love that shit. I love the outdoors.
I'm gonna ask you about that right now, but finish this story because I want to see.
No, so I just go over there, right? But at this point, I didn't know to grab the head or anything. I'm like, so I dive on it. I fucking dived on this fucking snake, and it snuck out, and I'm like, oh shit! And I just grab it, and then and then it kicks back at me. It kicks back at me, but but it didn't catch me. I was like, oh, but it was a baby. Damn. At the time, I'm thinking oh, this is, you know what I mean? Oh my god, this dude's a badass. But then, you know, after I held it and I understood, I was oh no, this is like a baby. It didn't even know what the hell to do, right? And so I just grabbed it and I had it in a towel. Cause they gave me they threw shit at me. I dived on it, they threw some shit at me. I was like, oh shit! I put my whole body on it, and I just kind of scooped it up, and I'm like, okay, cool. And that one I put in the sewer. I walked out. You know how there's like gutters? I just went whoop right in the sewer. I don't know if it could swim or not.
Okay.
I hope so.
Well, I mean, it's funny because in all your stories, from what I've heard up to now, you never kill the animal, and
No.
you would hear this normally. Like anybody will kill the animal, and I mean, regardless of what the situation is, because I do know that in Florida there are certain animals that are like a problem, that they're infested. So it's actually not a bad thing to kill them, but it just shows that you want to solve the situation, but it's like, all right, little buddy, go fuck somebody go fuck with somebody else, like you live to tell the tale, like.
Exactly. The same way I like to come and talk about it. I'm pretty sure him and his snake buddies could chit chat about this too.
In their own little snake podcast.
Yeah, and they're exactly. The only thing I've ever done, one time I stepped on a lizard. I cried because I was arguing with my mom, and I was like, "Fuck!" And I jumped, and at that time, it was a frog. It was a little frog, a little baby frog. Yeah, he just jumped under me. I was like, "Fuck!" And I just jumped, and I landed on him. I swear I didn't mean to, right? But I heard a pop, and I'm like, "Oh man!" At that point, oh shit. That's the light.
The lights?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. It's gonna blow. Get the chopper. Get to the chopper.
But yeah, no.
That's crazy.
So
I killed a hamster once, like that. I took a hamster on my car because I was at the time I wanted to be a hamster breeder for some fucking reason. I don't know if you remember those times, and I took a hamster on a ride with me on the car, and I put him in the cup holder, and I had a Camry at the time. I don't know if you remember some of vehicles
I think so.
have a little cup holder where you can close the cup holder, and it sort of works like it's a little container to put things. So I had the little mouse in there, right? Because I'm riding. So, you had the little thing that pops open, and you can put your cups, or you can close it, right? And put your keys inside. So I had the little mice in there, right? I'm like, this is a little perfect little buddy cage for him to ride with me and shit. And then I would open the thing up. He's like, oh, he's there. Oh my God, cool. But then one of those times that I try to open it, the mechanism of the door is it slides under the same hole. And he had gotten to the back of the hole. So when I did that, it sort of got him in that thing, and then crushed his back or some shit, his spine. And then I was just like, no, little buddy, why you did that? And it was that moment where I was just like, oh my God, this is so sad.
Did you put him out of his misery?
Well, the good thing is I think I killed him right away. When I picked him up, he was and then he left. So it was right away that he died.
Okay.
But yeah. We kind of had to do a little ceremony, but these fuckers reproduce a lot, so I already had a lot of my hound already, but it still hurt,
Yeah, no, the another story. Now that you brought up a mammal, I was at my buddy's house and and he because it's not all reptiles. It's not all reptiles.
Hey guys, here we're talking about different categories. He's like, when you said mammals, I was like, oh, stories I got.
Yeah, right. I honestly didn't. I forgot about this, but one time I gave birth to pugs. I didn't give birth, but I delivered the baby pugs. And basically it was.
Isn't it baby pugs are just born? They don't go to a hospital.
Yeah, so the dog, right? You know what I'm talking about? The pug, the dog.
You fucked the pug?
No, I didn't fuck the pug's name was Puchunga. Puchunga, yeah. This was Abraham's dog, and she was pregnant, and I was over there, and they're like, "Oh my God, what do we do? She's in labor." Of course, I'm always there, looked at the animal guy. I didn't even go to school for this, guys. I don't know why you're looking at me, but I was like,
it's like, hey guys, just because I took that frog out of your backyard at one time doesn't qualify me.
Yeah.
But again, bro, Steven, with the blood inside of him, he's just it's my calling. I've been called for this moment. We need this pug to deliver the pups.
Yeah, it was kind of sad because I'm not qualified for this, and so the dog gave birth, but I think it was 4 or 5 of them, 3 of them didn't make it, bro. They didn't make it. They were stuck in the embryo in the pouch. They were stuck in the pouch, and like I couldn't get them to breathe, and I was trying to do like CPR, like cutting the umbilical cord was like painful because like we didn't have anything sharp to like cut the umbilical cord. I didn't know.
And why wasn't this planned at all? Because you guys didn't know.
Dude, I don't fucking know, dude. I that to this day, like in that moment, all I'm thinking about is delivering them. But like to this day, I don't know why we didn't just get them to somewhere. You know, like that was a really sad moment because I knew part of their like some of them died because I just wasn't qualified. I didn't know what to do.
Damn.
And that time YouTube didn't exist. It's not like I can quickly like.
Right.
Somebody call 911. You fucking get on YouTube right now. Right.
Type in giving birth to pugs. Third one has died. What do I do now? Damn, bro.
Yeah,
but that is super, super sad. The thing is, guys, towards the end of the podcast, we want to give you a really sad story so that you can go home and really just feel like, you know, I love this podcast. This is the type of feelings that I want to try to get. But no, we're just kidding. But no, I mean, we're not kidding about the pugs. That shit was super sad and it did happen. But it's also about the reality of life, right? Like, I'm pretty sure if you don't get involved, doesn't the pug solve the issue? No. If you weren't there, all of them die.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, they're supposed to like just be able to reproduce out in the wild, right? Like they're just supposed to pop them out and like.
I mean, is it that we've made this pets be so like dependent on us that they're not even able to do that? Because from what I understand, the dog rips the fucking umbilical cord and fucking keeps trucking, dog.
To be honest with you, I think like wolves, right? Like wolves would just pop them out and that's it. But I guess like especially pugs and like these we had an episode of like these genetic like these breeds that are bred, you know what I mean, with
I think if you have a pug, I mean I'm not sure about this, but if you have a pug, I'm pretty sure then your sort of parameters for healthcare for the dog should be a lot higher, right? Like if they're gonna give birth, from what you're explaining to me, it seems like they need a special care and not, you know, because of course, like I've had dogs on my crib that give birth and shit. Not really, but like at my dad's company, for example. But like street dogs and those motherfuckers, they solve, you know, they're like, they go to the fucking DMV, get their license and shit. Like they do their shit, you know.
And they do their shit on their own, right?
Yo, they get their own birth certificate. They're like, yo, my name is Wally, dog. Fuck out of here. You know, like,
exactly.
They ain't with this like, hey, can we get somebody to help me? So how many lived?
Two lived.
Out of 7.
Out of 5.
Okay. So
from what I remember, it was a really long time ago, but it was like I had a lot, and I had one that was like I almost made it. He almost made it, and then he just like passed out.
Oh fuck, dude!
Like the one I was trying to save, because like two were good, and I was like just trying to like, you know, save as many as I could.
Man, if you look at life, bro, like you think about that situation, right, where it's like, well, none of them are gonna make it, right? And even if like you were like a certified person, maybe one of them doesn't make it, right? Like even then, like that's how animals work, right? That's why they're having 5-7 pups, right? Exactly. And then you go into like the world of turtles, right?
Right.
And out of the
love
turtles,
turtles are my favorite animal.
I think. My bad.
No, I fucking love. That was just brought up a soft spot.
Turtles, I fucking love turtles, bro. They're my favorite animal. It was just like super. It is. I mean, it is what it is, guys. This is how we are. Okay, this is our personality. This is the type of people we are. So fuck you. I know you're judging us. It's like, Kiko, why are you saying that? Are you judging Steven? No, I'm not. But I'm saying I know what the fuck you're thinking. All right, I know of all of you 45 subscribers. We got another one today. That's right, dog. We're growing in this bitch. Okay, no, but turtles, right? You know how like they go into the sand and then they put all the little eggs and then they leave and it's like hundreds of eggs, right? Mm-hmm. And then across the beach is thousands of eggs. Yeah. And from what I understand, like less than half make it.
Way less, right? Way less, like
10%.
Like 10%, yeah, like something so low.
Like the rest, bro, are just ego food, and like other animals' food. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I mean, they try to do like, well, you've seen them. Actually, again, the other day, I was in the Keys, and they had
the Florida Keys.
The Florida Keys, yeah.
We have people that live in the Eastern Bloc of Soviet Russia and the surrounding areas, and also we have people in Europe that don't know about the keys. When they hear the keys, there is the keys of the house, or they're doing a bump out of some Bolivian cocaine, and that saddens me and Steven. But we're talking about the Florida Keys, so this is like some islands. Maybe people here is like, yeah, we know what the fuck the Florida Keys are, bro. What the fuck is wrong with you? But whatever, dog. We don't know. It's some fucking little islands at the bottom of Florida. You know, like Florida is like a penis, and at the end is like a little stream of urine. Well, the little stream of urine is the Florida Keys.
That's right. Just a dribble. So we were in the Keys that night, and we were just taking some pictures at some park, because there's really nowhere to go. We just wanted to get out of the house, and we saw that that in this little like park, they set up like a turtle driveway. The best way I can explain it, like wherever they planted the mama tortoises, or they put the eggs in, they put like black lining all the way, like guiding them to the beach. And the reason they do that is because sometimes the lights from the street or from cars passing by, the baby turtles just go towards the moon. That's why when they hatch, they tend to hatch at nighttime, or you know what I mean. So I don't know how they time that though, but from my understanding is that they are following the moon, and that's why they try to put this black liner up so that they're not going the other way. They just follow like the moon. And I was so like, Nat was like, "What are you doing?" I was just like looking at it, and I was like, really like trying to understand the whole situation.
These are fucking turtles, Dad. What do you mean?
I love the turtles. If I can come back as an animal, I'll be a turtle.
You'll be a turtle. All right.
Turtle,
so, turtle. So we have.
Nice crush, dude. Yeah.
So you have that thing with the turtles, right? And then you have these birds that I've seen that they're born, right? And they're like in these risks, like in these mountains, right? And they're like, there's just mountains that go down, right? There's no valley, just fucking high ass mountains. And then these little birds are born, and then the mom throws them, or I don't know if she throws them or they just jump. They jump from the nest down. And bro, this is like thousands of meters, and they're just hitting the rocks like pa ta pa pa. And out of 30 little fuckers, maybe 3 make it, right? Because they're just jumping like pa pa. And I'm like, wow, this is a fucking cruel filtering process to find the strongest motherfuckers. Like you could do something else right now. It's like, no, okay, guys, everybody here, all my little kitties, all right, you're gonna jump from the 5th floor, fuck that, 10th floor, and whoever makes it is man enough to run in this house. God damn it. So what I was trying to say with all this, right, the turtles, the thing is that animal life is fucking cruel. When you talk about like life is hard, it is, and we gotta live it. But man, when you watch like Animal Planet and shit, and you see like a fucking lion just getting a giraffe and ripping it apart alive, or you see a pup dies because that's just the nature of it, or 90% of the turtles get eaten and they don't make it. That's the fucking how savage nature is. But then you have someone like Stevesky here, who's he's the prodigy of Steve Irwin, and then like the living memory of him. He's now here, controlling animals with his love, and you could see how something that's so savage like nature could be softened up by the hands of a gentle giant here, Stevesky. Such a beautiful.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that. I was telling Nat the other day, like, eventually I would love to like have a rescue, like saving the owls or like all of that shit that goes crazy.
Carol Baskin.
Yeah, but like without the. I don't know if I do. I would love to hang out with tigers, but tigers just seem like a lot of work and a lot of risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, risk reward is a little.
Yeah. It's not there. But yeah, no. I'm super fascinated by like these like TikToks or like YouTube videos of like, or like, have you ever been on Facebook and it's like the dodo bird or whatever?
Yeah,
like,
those are really nice.
Oh, I got this dog. It had mange. I gave him this. I did this. Oh,
yeah,
all of a sudden he's here. He's like,
it's always
the best
filled
dog
with
ever.
Stories like yours today. But no, that's super nice, and maybe like in the future, what you're describing something like a sanctuary where like
Yeah.
you rescue animals that need it, and then maybe in the case of pets, reroute them to people that love them. So that's great. I mean, hopefully in the future we can get involved in some sort of organization where we can help animals. The ones that we have a bit more direct contact with are like dogs and pets. I've always been the type to have dogs from the streets, and obviously Latin America, this is a bigger issue than in the first world country. But nevertheless, it's always important to bring awareness to this, not only to the animals but also to nature itself. We need to take care of it. You don't have to be a fucking hippie tree hugger to give a fuck about nature and think about the right thing. So that's all for me, Steve. Thank you guys for listening. Any last words, bro? It's all you.
No. I would, if you care to, try to help out a little bit, I would look into like your local humane society or just get out into nature yourself and just try to start appreciating it. And it'll snowball from there. So anyways, that's all for me too. So thanks for tuning in, and have a good week.